His player efficiency numbers display that he's not necessarily having the best season of all time, but the most efficient one. You also have to consider that Denver's missing two of their max contract players. When Jamal Murray's on the floor, he and Jokic have one of the deadliest pick-and-roll combinations in basketball. Likewise, Michael Porter Jr. gives Jokic an elite deep-range threat when the paint condenses. Nikola's missing two of his most trusted offensive players on the team, yet Denver's still been successful. When the Serbian's gracing the floor, Denver has a 112.8 offensive rating, which would make Denver the second best offense in the NBA if they obtain that number as a team. Nikola also has a 104 defensive rating when he's on the court, which would place Denver as the second best unit defensively in the league as well. Stats don't paint the entire picture, I'm aware of that, but it's clear the Nuggets are an elite team on both ends of the floor when Jokic is on the court. For transparency, running those same on/off-court numbers for the top stars in our game like Kevin Durant, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Stephen Curry, and you'll find similar or slightly better numbers. But I think context matters here because Jokic is doing more with less. The Bucks have three players averaging 18+ points per game, along with Bobby Portis, who has 15.4 points per game. Meanwhile, for the Nets, Kyrie continues to play strictly road games, but Brooklyn has three of the game's best talents, along with elite shooters like Patty Mills and Joe Harris. Finally, Golden State has four players averaging 17+ points per game, combined with a perennial DPOY candidate in Draymond. Aside from Jokic, the Nuggets have one player averaging 15+ points, which is Will the Thrill Barton, but Jokic certainly carries Denver, leading the team in points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. There's only 5 players in the history of the game to accomplish that for a whole year. Whether he takes home back-to-back MVPs or not, ultimately, we're witnessing one of the game's best and most unique talents to grace the NBA stage. The Joker's a true unicorn in the sense that he'll revolutionize the game of basketball in a similar way Curry did with his deep-range bombs. The man's brought the value of the big man back and introduced a new way to think about the center position. Sadly, Jokic likely won't receive the credit and status he really deserves without a championship ring, but a second MVP in back-to-back fashion would engrave his name as a true legend and basketball pioneer. In terms of the talent around Jokic, who recently turned 21-year-olds for Denver, that's been most noteworthy. The Nuggets bench has performed remarkably better when it's featured either or both of Highland and Najee in the lineup. Denver's bench has contributed nicely in the 24 outings he suited up for Coach Mike Malone. Najee's making 48% of his 2 3-point attempts per game. Not only has Zeke increased his deep-range efficiency by 8 percentage points as a sophomore, but Najee's also doubling his points per game from 3 to 6 in year 2 of his career. The perfect stretch big man for the modern NBA. Right off the bat, after he was given the opportunity in the rotation consistently, Zeke's proved to be an absolute sniper from beyond the three-point line. The Arizona alum also has a soft touch on the inside and solid lateral quickness and length defensively with a 7'1" wingspan. Another diamond in the rough for the Nugs, Busy Bones Highland has lit it up in the Mile High to heights the majority of general managers didn't expect. Proving to be one of the steals of the 2021 draft class last summer, Bones had to hear 25 other names called by Adam Silver before he was selected by Denver. After spending 2 years at Virginia Commonwealth University, aka VSU, Bones would take off in his second year with the Rams, averaging 19 points per game as a sophomore. Despite the flashy shot manufacturing he showed off at the NCAA level, there were still many questions as to whether or not his slight 6'3", 170-pound frame could adjust to the physicality of the pro level. But a few months later, and now the only questions are whether or not the NBA game can adjust to Highland's speed. In the Mile High, Bones has been somewhat struggling with his shooting, making only 36 and 33 of his field goal and three-point shots respectively. However, it's the active, laterally quick perimeter defense, the speed and tight handles on the other end that make Bones a prospect to keep an eye on. Highland's averaging a rookie 12th best 8.1 points per game in only 16 minutes per night. Last night in Denver's win over the Blazers, Highland did foul out, but he contributed